Folks, my name is Jen, and this evening, or today, this morning, or whenever it is that you're watching this, we're going to talk about the books that I would like to read this summer. I know when this video comes out, it will only be May. Where are we at? I think I'm going to post this on like the 23rd. So I might be jumping the gun just a little bit. I could hold out until next week, but to be completely frank, I lost track of time this past weekend, and I did not plan properly a video for this week. I have not had my shit together for a while, so we're gonna talk about my summer reading plans this week instead of next week, and by next week hopefully I'll have my shit together more to give you a different video that I was hoping to have for this week. But anyway, yeah, where are we at? I don't know. TBR for the spring, pretty much read one book last month. Have not read this that much this month. I'm all over the place. Frankly, I am not good, but we're struggle busing along here. I have basically, I don't know where I'm at with my challenges, with my things, the goals that I have made for myself. We'll go into those firstly. And book reading challenge that MJ for Me in This Life, she has been doing on Storygraph. I did really good in January, and then everything went. I am behind. We are now going to be playing catch up. So, like I said, it's not quite the end of May yet. I am here in Lady Chatterley's Lover. This was supposed to be March's read. So you see how that went. I have not cracked open either of these. So, for April or May. So, my goal this week is to hopefully finish reading Lady Chatterley's Lover. So that will go off. Hopefully you won't see this summer. Hopefully I will have finished that before this month goes out. So then I just have to play a little bit of catch up. So I'll have 5 books to read this summer instead of just 3. So yeah, 2 books that are rolling over. I did not get to Anne Frank's Diary, and I also did not get to Lolita. So I'm going to try to crack into both of these fairly soon. Yeah, I want to do these this summer. I'm hoping to get to both of these in June. We'll see. And then July and August, I've got 3 books to get through. I want to get to The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. Have I talked about any of these books? Well, you know this. The Diary of a Young Girl. It's Anne Frank's diary. Frankly, where my head is at right now, I don't know if mentally I can handle some of these books, but I'm going to give it a good old college try anyway, because they are important to read them. Lolita, Nabokov's novel about Humbert, who is a real fucking perv. So, you know what that's about. And then, yeah, The Bluest Eye is by Toni Morrison, and this is following I think her name's Piccola? I think it's Piccola. I'll have to look up how to pronounce her name. Piccola Breelove, a young black girl who prays every day for beauty. She's mocked constantly for how she looks, and prays every day that she could have blue eyes and blonde hair. That is so depressing. Her life is like disintegrating in the face of this horrible shit and her wishes. So, that is that. And then we have Fahrenheit 451, which I have read before. Classic tale of book burning. When firemen burn things instead of not burning things. And then we have The Handmaid's Tale. Do I need to tell you what this book is about? No. We're reliving it. So yeah, those are my the banned books that I want to read this summer, this is not going to be a good time for me. But I'm going to get through them anyway because, like I said, they're important reads. And maybe instead of freaking me out, they'll make me feel a little better. I don't know. We'll see. I have some books that are going to be rolling over from spring to summer. Mask of the Deer Woman is one. I started reading this, and then I stopped reading it. I'm having just a little bit of trouble with this one because the main character so far is just... I don't like her. Really don't like her. And I tend to have a really hard time getting through a book if I fucking hate the main character. So this is a little hard, but the topic is really important. It is about a woman. She was a detective in Chicago. Yeah, she was a detective in Chicago, and she has recently come back to the res where her father grew up anyway, and she has been appointed the new tribal police chief, and she is there to kind of figure out what's going on with all these missing Indigenous women. And see, that's part of the problem, is she's so fucking dismissive, and she's just so... I hate that. There are women, this is legit, like, women missing, murdered, people don't really give a flying shit. Is her being so dismissive, it's just, it's angering me. So I'm having a hard time getting into this, but I'm gonna keep struggling along. Along those lines, I have Blood Sisters by Vanessa Lilly, and this one is about, she's an archaeologist. Yes, she's an archaeologist at the Bureau of Indian Affairs. She's in Rhode Island, but then she gets basically called back to Oklahoma because a skull has been found near this old crime scene, and her sister has just vanished. So, and this is very much the vibe that I'm having right now because I've been watching Dark Winds, which is a great fucking show, by the way. Yeah, I want to get to both of those in the summer. That's kind of my vibe right now, has been mysteries. I'm very into the mysteries. I will talk more about those. But I'm very much in mystery mode right now. But I'm trying to maybe get into fantasy mode too, because there are some fantasy books that I really want to read this summer, which is another rollover. I did not get to the Shades of Magic trilogy. Surprise, surprise. But yeah, I'm going to attempt this again. I'm going to do a reread of Darker Shade of Magic for the third time. And then I would like to get to the other two books. Let's see, so that was my banned books. Classics, I've got a couple of classics that I'll talk about that I want to try to get to. And then I've also got nonfiction that I would like to try to get to. Ooh, a couple of these are rollovers. Cultish by Amanda Montell. That's a rollover. This is another one that might freak me out, but might make me feel better. I don't know. You never know. I don't know half the time, any day, what's going to upset me and what's not. So, I also wanted to read Rights of Man by Thomas Paine. I'm feeling some Thomas Paine right now. I would also like to read Invisible. This is the forgotten story of the black woman lawyer who took down America's most powerful mobster. Her name was Eunice Hunton Carter. She's actually author's grandmother. Yeah, she's a total fucking badass. I heard about her on a podcast episode that I listened to a while ago, and this sounded really fascinating. And just the fact that this book is written by, like, her grandson is also, like, an added bonus of being really cool. And then I had a morbid, I don't know, idea about this one. I got this for my birthday because I also heard about this woman on a podcast. It was Frances Glessner Lee, and she created the Nutshell Studies of Unexplained Death, which is something that still teaches law enforcement officers today still how to solve crimes better, investigate crimes better by looking over these scenes. There are answers to them, I guess, but they don't share them with the general public. This book, basically, it has a lot of information about Frances Glessner Lee. That's her. She's also a really cool badass. It tells a lot of information about her and her work, and then it shows these scenes. There's full color pictures, and it goes through these scenes, and you get all the story write-up and all like scene information, and then you can look through the pictures, and it has like maps too of everything, and it looks like you can think about the stuff yourself and try to work it out. So not to like copy other people, because I have seen a couple other booktubers read murder mysteries and then stage solving them or something, but I don't know. I had this idea percolating in the back of my mind that maybe I could do a vlog or a couple of little vlogs or something over the course of time. If you guys are interested, I don't know. I might be the only freak who's really into this right now or something, but yeah, I thought maybe I could read this with y'all and just kind of go over things and try to figure out, or obviously I'm not going to have the answers. I'm not enrolled in this school. I'm not with law enforcement, so I'm not going to get the actual answers or anything. But I thought it would be fun little problems to solve, or something to distract myself and thereby distract y'all if you also need something to wrap your brain around for a little while. And then we have another stack of books potentially to get into. So, classics. I have a couple of classics that I like to get to this summer. I never finished Jesus. I never finished reading Nicholas Nickleby. I've still got like only a few chapters until the end. I really need to like just rip Band-Aid off. Finish reading that book. Speaking of Dickens, though, I'd also like to get into Great Expectations this summer. Honestly, I was leaning more towards Tale of Two Cities, but I feel like that feels more like a fall novel. Great Expectations feels more summertime. So, this is a story about Pip, a young orphan who ends up befriending and kind of falling in love with this old woman's ward, and gets hired to like be a companion to her, and still have other shit happening. Anyway, that's Great Expectations. Then we have The Black Arrow by Robert Louis Stevenson, which it sounds like this is set during the War of the Roses, and it's action, adventure, romance, and lasting enjoyment, says Reader's Digest, so I will believe them. I remember vague things about the War of the Roses. That was a unit that we honestly spent a little too much time on in like the 8th grade, for reasons I can't quite comprehend, but yeah, we're hopefully whatever scant things I remember will aid me in reading this. I thought it was going to be about pirates because, you know, Stevenson, but The Black Air, I don't know, it sounds interesting anyway. And then we come to Lady of the Camellias by Alexandre Dumas, who I adore, and I don't know anything about this book. I grabbed it on a whim because it was a Dumas and I thought the book looked kind of pretty. And yeah, I know absolutely nothing about this book, and I think I'm kind of okay with that. So, yeah, those are the three classics, besides a couple of the banned books that I plan on reading this summer. Like I said, I'm also super into mysteries right now. So I have decided that I'm going to read all of the T.E. Kinseys that I currently own, which will basically mean doing a reread of A Quiet Life in the Country, which is the first book. See, I've already got a bookmark shoved in here ready for me to go. And this series is following Lady Emily Hardcastle, who is like this eccentric widow, and her maid Florence Armstrong. Florence and her are like, they're not just maid and like lady, they're friends, they're confidants, they're total badasses. They sound like they were involved in like maybe some government things, and like Florence knows martial arts. It's like a whole thing. I can't remember when this is set. I think it's like 1910. Books are A Quiet Life in the Country, In the Market for Murder, Picture of Murder, which I read this one too, Death Around the Bend, and The Burning Issue of the Day. So I want to read all of these, and I think that will be tons of fun. Also think I might want to pick up Family Lore by Elizabeth Acevedo, because I love Elizabeth Acevedo's writing. And I know that this one feels like there might be supernatural elements. There's a lot of family stuff going on, family dynamics, and stuff like that. So this sounds pretty cool. It's about like a woman who can predict when someone's going to die, and this woman has like called her family back to her. Heyo, Jen of the next day here. My batteries freaking died, both of them, so I wasn't able to finish this off last night. But I only had a couple more books that I wanted to talk about anyway, and those were a couple more fantasy that I was hoping to read. I think the last thing I talked about was like, I can't remember what the last thing I talked about was, but yeah, I only really had like 3 fantasy books that I really wanted to squeeze in this summer, one of which is technically a Nightstand of Shame book. It's The Evercruel Kingdom by Rin Chupeco. It's book 2 in what I believe is just a duology. I read The Never Tilting World last year and liked it in spite of myself. So I started book 2 and never finished it. So yeah, I want to finish this, and this is in a world that several years prior there was a cataclysm that happened and the world stopped turning, and this has made it imbalanced, and basically one half of the world is a desert and the other half is like an icy land, and there's these girls with companions traveling from their kingdoms to the site of the cataclysm to kind of figure out what happened and maybe fix things. And that was book 1, and book 2 is everything following the events of book 1. And then the other 2 that I wanted to get to just kind of feel like summary fantasy reads. One is The Adventures of Amina El-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty, and this is basically pirates. This is all about pirates. It's about a pirate crew that basically get together for one last job. This one last job they get pulled into because the captain's, I think it's a friend of hers or something, their granddaughter, I believe, is in trouble, and so she gets pulled back into this thing to try to save the kid, I believe is what I know about this. Pirates, piratey things. I have also been half contemplating doing a reread of Treasure Island again this summer, so pirates just feels like a good idea for the summertime anyway. And then the last book that I want to maybe get to this summer is The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah, and this one, I don't know a ton about it other than it's set in like the desert, and it's basically about someone named Luli, who is a midnight merchant. A criminal, with the help of her djinn bodyguard, hunts and sells illegal magic. She saves the life of a cowardly prince, draws the attention of his powerful father, the Sultan, who blackmails her into finding an ancient lamp that has the power to revive the barren land at the cost of sacrificing all jinn. So, I believe there's like some 1001 Arabian Nights, like those tales. I believe it's partially inspired by that from what I remember. But yeah, those are the last couple of books and they sound really good. A lot that I want to get to this summer, but I've been kind of weird so far this year, like extreme mood reading when I actually feel like reading. So I don't know what the summer will bring, but we'll see. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for always watching. If you're new here and would like to subscribe, please indeed do so. And I will see you guys next time.